I was scrolling through my Pinterest board this year, I realized that I didn't quite have the budget nor the square footage for like a separate homeschool room, but I did have a corner in my living room. Hi, my name is Oksana and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things Christian motherhood and intentional discipleship. This video, I'm gonna give you a full homeschool tour because I believe part of that is making disciples is by how we're stewarding them and training them inside of our homes. So let me show you what I have. So my child is only 4 years old, but he has been really excited to learn. One of the first things that I did is I actually got together with a friend and I decided which curriculum that I want to go with. The only thing that I bought that was new was my curriculum, and then I also bought a lot of used stuff through that curriculum on eBay. But I did buy like a brand new gift basket for my son just as a way to welcome him into the school year. I got like a really fun, cute dinosaur timer, some new markers, crayons. I got these like first pencils. And the second thing that I did after I figured out my curriculum was I bought myself like a little planner and a little calendar to kind of get an idea of how I want my week to look. And I'm actually just gonna do a 4-week school week, and I'm gonna keep that 5th day, my Fridays, more of like an enrichment, hands-on, as well as other curriculums that I have just gathering throughout the years. One thing I did not do was just go and buy a bunch of stuff because I didn't want clutter and I didn't want to be overwhelmed, and also financially I didn't want to put myself into that spot. And so I've gathered all the resources that I've thrifted throughout the past 5 years, from Christmas gifts and birthday gifts and things that people have given us. I even have this like little skip hop table that we've had since he was a baby, and so I pulled that out with a cute rug and created like a separate section. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to make a cute little homeschool area. You can really just utilize what you have and then add on as you go. In addition to my Abeka phonics curriculum, I also bought some like activity books like community helpers, basic history and geography, as well as like some health. And then I am pairing this with our 24 family ways, which I have spoken about this before. It's really great for all ages, and I will pair this with the Lethos Bible storybooks as we do our devotionals in the morning before school. Another thing that I do is I make sure I have like some sort of like ready to go rotating markers, pens, crayons kind of setup, so whenever my son is feeling inspired, I will pull out like a little highlight magazine or a coloring book or some sort of worksheet that he can kind of do just to keep himself busy while I prepare for the day. And I also have a lot of like curriculums that I thrifted throughout the years. And these are just like super basic counting, science, social skills games. I mean, I got this one for $3, this one for $2, and I just make sure I add on little things like this. And along with having something ready to go, I made sure to give a tour to my son so that he knows what we have. So whenever he's in the mood to do something creative or educational, he can help himself to whatever is in this cabinet.
Ooh, I thought you were Spider-Man. I'll just come and just save the day. Gotcha. There was a bunch of dinosaurs.
And as someone who likes to thrift, I will typically stop by the book section in the kids area and I will find some 50-cent books, dollar books, and I will add them into our library. Both of the boys' rooms have a lot of books in there, and I typically go for like Christian books or character books or manners, you know, things of that sort. Hey sweetie, what's up?
Hey, I forgot to tell you. You're welcome, bye-bye.
All right, bye. I've been trying to film this. It's like the 5th time someone's calling me or the baby's crying, so let's try this again. I just laid out all of my books, and for this month, of course, it's just school themes. And eventually, one thing I want to do is as we go through geography and history and learn about countries, I want to be able to bring in topics of missionaries and bring in culture and be able to cook that meal. Something fun. Again, those are just enrichment things that I'll end up incorporating into my Friday nights. I also have a separate basket, and these are more like hands-on learning, like alphabets and letters and little blocks and little games. I'm not a big fan of like letting the kids learn with like tablets or things like that. Although I did find something new at the library. They will actually let you check out like a guided learning tablet. And so I really appreciate being able to give my son something like this that's not a computer or a phone to learn. And I know there's a lot of really cool apps, like especially like the Good and Beautiful homeschool curriculum. They have some really pretty apps, but I don't let that replace like hands-on learning. It's just kind of a side. And again, I know this is like a lot of stuff, but something that you can even do if you don't want to go buy stuff is go on like Etsy or any of those places, and you can even just purchase like a digital file. And so I have some that are like ABCs of like learning character, and they even come with like songs and things that you can learn. And I also just incorporate a couple of these for more like emotional regulation. How do we be dependable? How do we be a good friend? Little things like that that I just find online. One thing that I plan to do this school year, and I don't know, let me know if you already do something like this, but I plan to have some sort of like treasure chest. And so one of the things I found when I thrifted was I found this like little adventure kit, which I was super surprised it was like brand new. Another thing I found, $4, United States of America wooden magnets. And so again, I'm trying to keep my that tongue twister. I'm trying to keep my treasure chest still like school focused, but along the themes of what we're learning that he'll be able to pick out and swap out for a prize. A couple more things is little matching letters. I have some handwriting practice with like a dry erase board. But again, as you saw, I thrifted so much of my stuff. Whenever I am going to a thrift store, I will always make a little mental note of what I'm looking for. Things that I don't want to spend money on, but I would love to have just like as an extra. One thing that my mother-in-law bought us was a bunch of these like little interactive busy books, but it's super cool because they have like different types of weather, they have different types of animals, numbers, learning planets. And so some of this stuff I will actually spend money on if I feel like it's worth it. And this like busy book I feel is like so wonderful for kindergarten. Something that we started doing on the side too is having our son earn money for things that are not necessarily like his everyday chores. We will give him a coin. Let me show you. Honestly, it's like super simple. It's just coins with like a glass jar. Part of that is on purpose because we learn numbers and math, entrepreneurial and money skills. But I even found this little book when I was thrifting. Y'all, there's a theme. I'm only sharing all these books that I thrifted to give you an idea of what to look for when you go thrifting. Here's 10 dimes and here's your dime to tithe. Wow, you saved $11. And it's kind of their way of saving money, but also being able to give unto the Lord and understand it. And so anyways, I love things like this that are like really fun for the kids, but also a way for them to learn as they're going. When I go thrifting is I just look for a bunch of just like shapes, colors, early learning activities, social skills, activities for kids. And this kind of helps take away the overwhelm for me, like having to think of something creatively when I can just read what other families have already done and what's been successful. All this to say, everything I have in my homeschool area is just really a means to be able to train my children in the way that I see fit for the Lord or in an educational manner. In regard to Bibles, we do have a couple Bibles. Like I have obviously just my standard Bible, my ESV, and then I have a couple storybook Bibles like the Lethos Kids, Jesus Storybook, What Every Child Should Know About Prayer. I love everything by Nancy Guthrie. I think that's how you say it. But overall, my priority for my homeschool has just been like my Abeka curriculum, my math curriculum, because the Abeka comes with the phonics, it comes with the flashcards, little things like that. And then I have a lot of interactive hands-on, like my busy books, my activities, my little puzzle cards, building blocks, things like that. But yeah, so that's kind of everything that I have. And so my goal for this year was really to like get less stuff because I already have, as you guys have seen, I already have a lot of stuff, and as he grows, we'll add on and we'll expand. The last thing that I bought for this year, but it's like a little calendar. It's one of those digital calendars, but like off-branded. Put a meal planner and a chore chart, photos, I mean, just a bunch of stuff, and it's all linked to my phone. And so I'm gonna be able to do this for like our schooling. I personally have my stuff separate from my child's homeschool, and I keep everything in my morning basket, like my Bible, my journal, a devotional. So another thing that I do is I make sure that everything in my living room has some sort of space. And so I actually got these little ottomans, I believe at Marshall's, especially when little brother is not taking a nap and he wants to do some sort of school to be like big brother. And of course, just toys, cars, things of that sort. We do have 2 of those. And then I also have like a stack of baskets there. They look really pretty, so they match my decor, but they are hidden spaces for toys, especially for quick cleanup, which I love that. I hope this was helpful. I have a lamp. I have this board. Of course, thrifted. I have a big whiteboard. So anyways, that's kind of everything I have in my homeschool section. It's always fun to see what we've accumulated throughout the years and what we can find. But yeah, so I'm super excited. So thanks for being a part of this with me. And I'll be posting a whole weekly vlog of our first week of first time homeschooling next week. So be sure to check it out. In the meantime, check out any of these other weekly vlogs. Get to know us and our family, and I hope that you'll join the fam. And until next time, bye. Oh.